What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And Bitcoin is absolutely screaming to the upside right now as Jerome Powell hints towards some potential rate cuts in September, which we have been expecting for quite some time. And although the charts were looking a little bit weak yesterday, this could change everything. And isn't it just funny how this news comes out right as Bitcoin is approaching super key levels of support? Pretty weird if you ask me, guys, but I want to break down all the key levels that I'm looking at and how this could potentially change things moving forward as we line up to hopefully enter our final stages of the bull market. As we've been looking at, we have Bitcoin dominance coming down. I'm going to take a look at some altcoins with you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So as you guys can see here, Bitcoin price charges to 116K as Fed's Powell hint at interest rate cut. Bitcoin recovers from a trip to 6-week lows as Fed Chair Jerome Powell gives strong dovish clues over where interest rates will head in September. Now, you guys know we have been taking a look at the Fed Watch tool as the predictions for a rate cut in September have been pretty high. We recently saw them drop as Bitcoin took a little bit of a tumble here. But as you guys know, our longer term sentiment here is that it is okay to see some noise come in here because we do have some time till September for those potential rate cuts to come in, and we can see some FRE come on into the charts here. So we got that pullback. However, with this news, guys, this does push those projections back up to around 90%, which is very nice for what we want to see for that final stage of the bull market that we've been expecting right as we have been entering that danger zone. You guys know we have some major levels of key support here, and it is just funny how that news comes in right as Bitcoin is entering the danger zone, and this could potentially change everything, guys. And if you guys tuned into the live stream last night, you will know as we were getting some 4-hour bullish divergences front running our actual lows here at about $111,842. We were looking for some kind of a potential bounce, but I was being very careful for lower highs and lower lows because when you leave a low like this untapped, guys, it becomes very suspicious. We even labeled this as kind of sus. And what happens here, guys? We get the lower highs super early, and what does Bitcoin want to do? It wants to come down to that magnetic level here where we have liquidity, and we got the beautiful SFP with a 1-hour bullish divergence into that key level of support, which is absolutely beautiful to see. And my thought process here, not only based off money flow coming out for lower highs and lower lows, but it also had a lot to do with the fact that if we were going to come up before sweeping this low, it would make me very suspicious to come back down and sweep out that low at 111,842 before finally getting that move to the upside. This does slightly change my sentiment here, guys. Now, obviously, money flow is still coming out here on the 12-hour, but the fact that we have gotten that sweep of the low, that makes this low look a lot better in my opinion, and it makes me a little bit less suspicious. Now, obviously, the money flow coming out will still have me careful for potential lower highs and lower lows, but I am much more optimistic of this low because we have come down and taken out this low here at 111,842, and this just goes to show, guys, a few different times we have had some key levels front run, and we just go down and sweep them, and this is another beautiful example of that. And the fact that this is such a major low, guys, does make me feel at least a lot more optimistic about a push to the upside. So we started off very cautious on the way to the upside, but now that we have this new news, we could potentially see some money flow fakeouts, especially with our 4-hour bullish divergence confirmed, and this 1-hour bullish divergence with the SFP is very nice, and we did get that quick move to the upside, and right now we are above our first major key level of resistance, which is that value area low. We're getting a little bit of resistance here on that anchored VWAP, but right now, guys, I would say as we've had this new information come out and the fact that we have come and taken this low, I mean, absolutely perfect. Lower high, lower low, we take it out, we get the news, and then boom, we get that slap to the upside. Every single time, guys, show me the charts, I will tell you the news. It's just insane that you see this play out, and then we do get that little news catalyst, or, you know, that tease of the rate cuts, which is very nice to see. Now, unfortunately, guys, I was just not on the charts at the time we got this set up, so I did not actually get an entry here right on the low, but it was a very technical setup with the bullish divergences and the SFP. If I am on the charts, guys, this is a setup I will take every single time, giving a beautiful risk to reward ratio based off that SFP, but I am not going to chase this, guys. I am going to have to wait for some kind of a pullback in order to enter into a new long position, so we will be keeping an eye out for that. But as of right now, just from a directional standpoint, guys, I just want to point out that the fact that we have finally come down and taken that suspicious low, when you got those sus lows, guys, they are more likely than not going to get tapped. So I do like this low at this point. Money flow, for what it's worth, is still coming out on the 12-hour. 16-hour money flow also coming out, but we may be able, guys, with that news catalyst, we could potentially see that fake out, and I do just like this low so much better than I did yesterday. And as we get new information, it's funny because last night we were talking about when you get new information, you do have to adjust your plan, and here we are in that exact situation. So I just want you guys to be aware of all this and the importance of coming down to take that low. So we got to watch that value area low at $115,630. And then if we break down below that, we can find some of the other key levels. I'll update you guys as that price action develops. But right now, let's see if we can stay inside this volume profile, which would keep the door open to potentially get a push up into our next big key level of resistance, which is sitting here on the point of control of the range and this daily MPOC. And that does sit between about $117,588 and $118,300. So I would say at this point, I'm going to treat this as a volume profile. As long as we stay above that low, the target up here at the POC is going to be open. And then, hey, if we could flip that POC, guys, let's go ahead and send that up to the value area high at about $120,288. And for what it's worth here, guys, between about $119,000 and $120,000, we do have a nice chunk of liquidity sitting up there as well, which is a very similar situation that we had on the last time we approached these highs. We got the big dump to the downside. We came back up. We had that liquidity above, sitting between about $119,000 and $120,000. So we knew if we were able to creep up there, we could see that push into that liquidity, squeezing price to the upside. And it's going to be a very, very similar situation here on our next revisit of that value area high. So if we can get above that POC at about 118.3, we could get sucked up towards that liquidity, which would be very, very nice to see for Bitcoin. And if we could pop out of this range, we could start to talk about potential breaks into new all-time highs. And right now, guys, technically, I am still holding my short position here on FEMEX. I've already got most of my profits locked in here, so that is totally fine. I may even drag this down to above this high, but at this point, guys, I'm fine getting stopped out of this position because it is a guaranteed winning trade. We caught a little scalp long here into the new all-time highs. We shorted the fake out of the all-time highs, enjoyed all that profit on the way down, and at this point, I am not going to be chasing this move, guys. Even if I miss it and it just continues screaming to the upside, I'm totally okay with that. There's always going to be another position to take. So absolutely beautiful here. And on top of this, guys, we also have a potential daily bullish divergence forming here. Now, this is not the strongest bullish divergence as far as angles go, but we do have it to our bodies and our wicks of the candles. Lower lows on our price action, higher lows on our momentum waves, and the daily money flow actually looks pretty good. But we are about to print that green dot on the daily. If we can get this to print, guys, it would greatly increase the chances that the low is in and we could potentially continue up here. But as always, we'll be cautious on those pullbacks. And if anything changes, I'll keep you updated. But I do just want to take a look here, guys, at Bitcoin dominance. We have been looking at Bitcoin dominance breaking down below our value area low, which is one of the biggest signs that we could see a massive drop on dominance, which would be very good for altcoins. And we also have our daily and 2-day money flow crossovers into the red, which is absolutely beautiful. Even the bullish divergence on dominance getting invalidated here with a fresh red dot. But either way, guys, even if we got that bounce, I would still just anticipate noise. And the longer term sentiment here for the final phases of the bull market to come in look like they're lining up absolutely perfect. And just as Bitcoin gets a little sketchy, we get a little news, we get the SFP, and we get that recovery. So I would still say, guys, my longer term sentiment's going to remain the same, bullish, until we wind up breaking the major key levels below on Bitcoin, which we'll cross when we get there. But very nice to see this. I cannot explain how nice it is to see this bounce. Hopefully we don't have to see those key levels of support on Bitcoin down at like $108,000. It would be very nice to just send it up from here, and dominance continuing to break down is super nice. We even have the stock market getting really nice pumps to the upside. We've been keeping an eye on the traditional markets. We all know Bitcoin is tied to the traditional markets, so very nice to see strength here. And one of the biggest things here, guys, is the Russell 2000. As we looked at last night on the live stream, we were tapping into this key level of resistance, which we know is the doorway to higher prices. If we could pop above there and this thing takes off, it is very likely going to leak into crypto and especially the altcoins. So we are seeing all those things we looked at line up, and even at that super sketchy situation where we're at resistance and we have Bitcoin coming down to key levels of support, we get these breakouts, guys. This is super, super nice to see. So until we see something completely break here, I would say taking out that low on Bitcoin, seeing these rips on the RTY, seeing the rips on the SPY, seeing the stock market come up is very, very, very positive for crypto and the continuation of this bull market. Come on, baby. We love this. I do want to take a quick look at Ethereum also getting its beautiful, beautiful bounce from our point of control of the range, which which we were anticipating ever since we lost this value area high. That is your next key level of support. You lose that value area high, the next place for price to likely go is that POC, and this is very nice to see this bounce, guys, because we did not lose our 786, which is the macro doorway to higher prices for Ethereum, and we didn't even have to break below it. This looks very nice. We've been talking about how strong this Ethereum chart is and why we were not worried on this pullback, and hopefully I helped you guys out kind of easing that fear on the way down, just showing you this is a bullish chart. The weekly money flow crossover into the green was very nice. Obviously, we can still potentially see pullbacks off this weekly red dot, but you could just see how fast things can change in the market, guys, and this is why I do not change my sentiment until I have a reason to on the charts, and you could just see slam down, slam down, slam down, get above it, and now we are continuing to push to the upside. So hopefully we could see this continue, especially with the money flow on dominance coming down. This is very nice to see, and we are now pushing back up against our key level of resistance, which was this Fibonacci extension target at about 47.50, and guys, above this, the only thing we have is the all-time high, which could still give us some turbulence, but I would still say, guys, we crack above this level. That is the doorway for Ethereum to come up to the 52.35 all the way up to the $5,800 target. Doesn't have to happen today, but we have all these long-term things lining up. We've been looking at them and repeating ourselves constantly, and through the pullbacks, it gets very hard to keep that sentiment, but we stay rock solid here on the channel, and it does look very, very good here, guys. Again, even if we get the bigger pullbacks, we still have the key levels of support, but it does look like we could get the early push up here as we've seen this bullish news, and it just seems to be right on time with the charts. So those are the targets I'm going to be looking at on Ethereum. Fresh daily green dot here on Ethereum as well. Money flow coming up, looking very nice. And even if we do come over here and take a look at things like Dogecoin, guys, we have been looking at a lot of the altcoins as we have these Fibonacci retracements pulled from the low to the high. You have your low, your higher low comes right in on that golden pocket. We're back above this anchored VWAP. We're inside the volume profile, which could call for the continuation through the profile into the value area high, sitting up here at about 35 cents. So we'll see how this develops over time, but the low, high, higher low, higher high is still in the cards. We have the will it break level up here. It does look like we might be able to hold this, guys. This would be a very nice level to put the higher low in at. Then we take a look at things like Cardano. We got the breakdown out of our value area. We retested the range high, which is nothing that bad, right? You're just breaking up, you're coming back down, retesting your previous range. We're attempting to get back into our doorway to higher prices. So even on things like Cardano, even on things like Dogecoin, even on things like Chainlink here, looking for that POC to get tapped. And even though we front ran it a few times here we are, based off our volume profiles, get into the range, flip the value area low to support. POC is that next stop. And the beautiful magnetic nature of that volume profile gave you that tapped target. And I would say if we can maintain support up here, not only are you flipping the POC, but also the 786, next target would be that will it break level to continue our bullish market structure overall to push into that value area high at 31.58. So very, very nice here, guys. I just wanted to run through some of these altcoins and just show you like we're right on track here. Even on things like Aerodrome, we have been giving all these levels for free on the live stream. Looking to fill these volume profiles in full. And sure, there's news, sure, there's scary dumps, but at the end of the day, guys, you flip the value area low, POC is your next stop, and then once you're accepted into this profile, the highest probability is to go ahead and send this thing absolutely perfect, like it's programmed into the price, guys, into the value area high, getting the support right here on our beautiful level that we were looking at to hold as a higher low to then see that value area high, and there is that break of structure to the upside into the high of the range. So very nice to see here, guys. We got bullish news events, we got dominance continuing down, we got obviously Ethereum looking super, super bullish. I would be expecting to take the highs there, even if we have to pull back again. We have the Russell 2000 finally getting the break, and I'll be honest, guys, we keep an eye on this constantly, but I would say this is a very bullish sign overall for the markets. This is exactly what we want to see. All of these things are coming together, even from a timing perspective. We are right on time here. So hopefully we can keep this bullish momentum going. Hopefully we get the rate cuts and we can see this bullish momentum continue, and we can see new all-time highs for Bitcoin at some point. So although we do have the money flow coming out here on Bitcoin, guys, coming down and taking that kind of sus low was a very good signal for Bitcoin. And hopefully we can continue up. If something changes and we have to come back down to those big key levels, I'll let you know. But just to give you an update, we expected that suspicious low to get taken. We took it, and look at that massive bounce to the upside. Super, super nice to see with the Russell breakout, with the stock markets pumping, with the bullish news. Absolutely perfect here, guys. I cannot be more explicit about it. So hopefully we can continue up, continue the bullish momentum, and hopefully we don't have to endure another pullback, guys, because I'm ready to wrap this thing up. Let's send this thing to the upside. Snap the altcoins up. I think everybody everybody's waited enough. This has been a painful bull market for the altcoins, so hopefully we can get the altcoins to snap to the upside. I don't know about you guys, but my diamond hands are getting pretty heavy, so I'm ready for this thing to rip to the upside. So with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for today's video. Hopefully this helps you out. Keep an eye on those key levels, and hopefully we can get that daily bullish divergence to confirm and continue this move up, stay inside the profile, and get this thing to send into its final all-time high. But I'll keep you guys updated every step of the way. I'll drop the market updates. We go live every weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come on, Bitcoin, you can do it. If you guys don't mind, smash that like button if you appreciate the free content. If you're looking for a place to trade, you can check the links in the description down below. That's all the time I got for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide.